In this demo, I'm going to show off the dotted loop. In this scenario, I'm a PM who works for a company called Barksoft. Barksoft is a company that makes clones of very popular mobile applications, but makes them for dogs and dog owners. In this story, they've already released a product called BarkBnB, and me, the PM, is proposing a new product called Doogbur. So let's start there. All of these things are files that I've uploaded, Word documents, spreadsheets, PDFs, etc., that Dotted has just absorbed. So here's a PR FAQ. The idea here is that this is a real PR FAQ. I've already had it reviewed by my real stakeholders. So you can see we've got comments in the document from designer Alice and some down here from engineer Mike. So the first thing that we can do with Dotted is we can just go ahead and we're going to detect stakeholders. So what this is going to do is Dotted is going to do its best to look at this document, find any stakeholders who are mentioned in the text or who have put comments in. It's going to look at the context around the mention or the text of the comments themselves, and it's going to derive from that workplace persona and a psychographic profile of this person. That's going to be useful for us in our ability to think about what we need to do to get to yes with that person and think about their needs. You can also use these stakeholders to manage your compliance and lots of other kinds of things, but this is the simple demo. So here's designer Alice. You can see that Dotted has filled out sort of a background of this person, their high-level approach, what their key concerns are. And then here's a list of 10 questions that sort of operate as the operating system of this designer. These are the questions they ask on loop. We also build out a DISC assessment of them so we know and understand kind of how they communicate. We can use that to help develop good messaging to get them to do things we need them to do later. So we've got that. We've got engineer Mike as well. Similar story. So what we could do right now is we could go in here and we could ask our AI stakeholders to give us more feedback, or we could go to revise this. But instead, what I'm going to do is I want to come here. So let's say Barksoft doesn't like to use PR FAQs, and I realized that after I got my document reviewed. So I have this old one-pager from BarkBnB. I'm going to come here. I'm going to use this as a template. I'm going to say Doogbur 2-pager is the name of this new document. We're going to use the PR FAQ as the source, and we're going to use this document as the template. So what Dotted is going to do during this time while it's thinking is it's going to look at this document, the one-pager, well, one-pager, not two-pager. It's going to look at this document and it's going to use the exact formatting of it. It's going to look at what are the headings, what's the level of detail, what kind of tables are in it, what's the exact order and the content and intent. It's going to take all of that and then it's going to use the data, the information from the other document. It's going to push it through to create a new document. So this is really helpful for if you work at a company that has a PRD template or a crisis response template or a release notes template, anything like that. You can use it and take data that comes from an unstructured conversation you have with Dotted, just hit this voice to text button right here, or unstructured notes that came from a meeting or some other document format like this. Anything that you need to do for document transformation, you can handle this with. We can also pull unstructured information straight from Jira or GitHub or anything else over MCP and push that into a structured document like a weekly status update if we want to. Okay, so here we go. We've got the Doogbur 2-pager, and you can see, boom, we hit the exact same format that we were looking at with the other one. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go, I want to know if this is a good document. Got these two virtual stakeholders. I'm going to ask them for their feedback. So what this is going to do is it's going to take those two profiles that we developed from looking at the other document, and we're going to get feedback from an AI version of those real people. It's either going to come to us in the chat or it's going to come to us in comments right in the document. So Dotted, as you can tell, when you're working with documents, it's very comment centric. And we've done this because we want working with Dotted to feel just like working with a real PM or with a real coworker. When you have somebody who works for you and you want to get a revision from them, you don't go line by line, change this, change this, change this with them sitting with you. You put comments in and you give it to them for a revision. Same with Dotted. So we got some feedback from engineer Mike here, right? Okay, that makes sense. We got some feedback, some more from engineer Mike here. Okay, that makes sense too. But let's say I wanna make this. I can put in my own feedback as well. And then we can just go, boom, ask for a revision. So what's going to happen in this situation, because this is Dotted's default, is it's going to go through and it's going to look at each of these comments and it's going to treat each one of them basically as a prompt. It's going to do its best to resolve each of those things. anything that you ask for in those comments, you can do any of the same stuff that you could do down here in chat. You can reference other documents, you can reference Jira or other things that are connected via MCP, and Dotted will do its best to resolve that. It also really tries not to hallucinate. If it doesn't know the answer to something, it will say, I can't do it. And if you ask it to put something in for information it doesn't have, it'll put in a TBD. So you can see, right, what we got out here is a diff showing us all the changes that Dotted made. Look at this, pet-friendly mobility platform reimagined, much snappier title. Good job, Dotted.